Welcome to Entry Points Radio. Every week we share human-curated playlists to break the algorithm. We're going to take a deep dive into new tracks, new humans, and new sounds to fall in love with from around the world. I'm Kate Bass.
And I'm Richie Steigner. We founded Global Music Collective to discover and create new music across boundaries. We've spent the past decade meeting fascinating people in over 50 countries.
These are the real songs and real stories that we share with real people along the way. This is Entry Points Radio. We're back.
Ah! Got me.
I think you gave me that one. That's okay. Just for the internet public, I did not know we were doing this podcast until 10 minutes before, 20 minutes before. Richie's internet is finally working.
Yes, I've moved our router literally on top of my computer, plugged it in with Ethernet cable, so I'm not even on Wi-Fi anymore. The cats are out of the room just to keep the cat energy away. I don't know. My phone, I've updated everything.
It's great. It's working for me.
Good. Why does technology do that? These are back in the day. God, I sound so old already. Like back in the day, you have a machine and you push the button on the machine and it turns the thing over and that's it. It does it. And now it's like, why does my phone, which used to work perfectly, like when I first bought it, why does it not work anymore? It's the same machine. Or is it? Maybe it's not. Maybe the software is updating to make it slower.
Maybe. Okay. Last night I was really tired. I had all this work I was going to do last night and I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the book I've been wanting to read forever and I'm going to go down to my building's pool and I'm going to sit in the pool and I'm going to read a couple chapters in the book. Do you know what the book was that I wanted to read?
Was it another economics and theory? Kate, nothing says relaxing like
I
deep
was sitting at the pool
theory.
reading Regenerative Economics by John Fullerton, which, by the way, is a great book. I'm really enjoying it. And one of the things that I liked about it as I was reading it was he was just talking about how our systems are built on this kind of misconception that financial improvement has to just continue growing and growing and growing. There's no circular nature to it. It just has to be exponential constantly. And so because of that, we're in the system where we're all kind of like, but my iPhone is fine. And I would like for my iPhone to just kind of continue and adapt and me to be able to continue using it. But in order for them to keep working in the system where economic viability is determined by constant expansion, they have to continue to make things that are made less and less and less well in order to make more and more and more money. And he's like, it's not even the businesses that are broken. It's the entire system that is broken. And I hope I'm phrasing that right. I don't know, but I was reading it last night in the pool, yeah, yeah. And I just keep thinking about it, the whole gray thing, how every wall, every house, you and I, okay, you're not in your house right now. Your house sitting in a house, and that's a nice painting behind you. And I try to do my best with my paintings and my flowers and my rugs and stuff, but I rent apartments. I can't, paint my walls. Mm-hmm. But it is interesting to look around and be like, we're just living in this world of increasing sameness. and yet, we all like color, we all like diversity, we all like interesting things. And I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent, but what you're talking about with the technology not making it easier and actually kind of making it worse it's exactly what you and I were just talking about earlier with the auditions back in our day when we were younger. I'm a Broadway performer. You used to go to Broadway auditions and you would walk into a room and the theater would hold auditions and they would have to hire the people to be in the room and they'd have to hire the pianist and you would get dressed up and you'd go and you'd wait and you'd have your audition time and you'd walk in the room and you'd sing for them. And nowadays, in order to get an audition, people have to submit video recordings that take them hours and they have to invest in recording equipment. They have to invest in getting the right wall behind them. And if they live in an apartment or a building that's not friendly to them singing loudly with a karaoke track, they have to find a new place to record. And all of a sudden, as you said, the onus is on the artist to have to make up all of these things that in the past you would just walk in a room and sing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we don't
rely on your charisma and your presence in the room and your ability and, for better or worse.
Human skills.
You're a human being. Yeah, exactly.
It's funny. I really do love tech. I really do. And we have just been joking about, you and I, like, there have been so many useful things that I've been able to do with AI. Like when your internet was bad and your video was all janky, we were able to fix it with the help of artificial intelligence, not by making a fake video, but by having a program that could kind of adjust every different little timestamp that was wrong and fill in the gaps, right? And we've had issues when we've been able to deal with audio syncing from Nigeria here because of AI. And like, I'm not anti-AI. I'm just feeling more and more frustrated. It's not just AI. It's like, it's the whole system. Nothing is built any longer to support human flourishing, is what it feels like to me.
I know. Reminds me of my refrigerator.
Go on. This is where we're going today.
No, I have it's in my condo. I have a refrigerator that actually, like, the guy before owned it. And he was like, when I bought the place, he was like, you can just keep the refrigerator. So I did. And this thing is like 40 years old and it runs great. It runs perfectly fine. In the time that I've owned that condo, my mom has bought like 3 different refrigerators. My sister has had a couple. They all they just keep failing. Meanwhile, I got this like kind of crummy looking one that freezes your ice and keeps your milk cold. And it's just on and it works.
Your refrigerator reminds me of my air conditioner. I used to live in Pasadena. I lived in an old building in Pasadena, California, and it had this ancient air conditioning unit that was one of these, like, it looked like it was a tank, from World War II or something, and you turned the knob and it was like, but it worked so well. It would cool down this pretty large apartment very quickly, very well. There were never problems. Now I'm in this fancy new Austin, Texas, new build apartment with the eggshell white and the chalk gray walls. And the air, you don't have any choice if you want to live in this building. It's a smart home, which means that I cannot enter the building or my apartment with an actual key. I have to use my cell phone. And they talk about how convenient it is that, all you need is your cell phone. And I keep thinking, what happens if the power goes out? What happens if there's a cyber attack? I don't know. It sounds crazy, but it doesn't anymore. What do we do if the building loses power? How do we get in the building, period, much less our apartments? And there isn't even in cars, there's still that secret valet key thing where you can still put a key in. There isn't even that. And my air conditioning unit is built on the smart home system, and it's just decided to stop working. So right now I'm just living on like my fan in triple digit heat in Texas because my air conditioning unit has stopped working, and there's no way I can fix it because the only way the air conditioner works is because some Wi-Fi thing connects to some hub that connects to some data center somewhere, across the country. And
yeah. Well, at least you can spend like 45 minutes on hold asking somebody to restart your air conditioner from some server.
Whatever.
Nice. Don't even get me started on TV either. We're not even
going to talk about music today.
We're not talking about music. Yeah, we're going full get off my lawn, stupid Roku. Why? Why? I used to turn it on, and there's the thing that I was watching is still on. Like there was if you have a football game on or something, power goes out, or you turn the TV off, and then it comes back. Now I got to log back into Amazon with 3 devices and
enter yours. Yeah.
It's not
funny.
better. It's not getting better.
It's not
just
better.
getting worse and more expensive and crummierly made.
I was thinking this morning, I have a friend. It's funny because I like to be like, we're just old and grumpy talking about the whippersnappers, but the whippersnappers don't like it either. Like
they don't.
All of the people, we're all over it.
We're over it.
I say with like my 3 different light sources and my, but I still have my microphone on a book stand.
There you go, folks. It's real. Kate's fumbling over there. I mean, but that's what it's come to. We can't get on here and have a respectable podcast unless there's like decent lighting and 4K and edits and
yes. Remember when podcast meant it was just audio? It was just 2 people.
It was just audio. Yeah. Now we have a vodcast, which is the technical term.
And the podcast can't even just be a podcast. In order to get people to listen to the podcast, we have to also make it full-time content creation on Instagram. I am really tired of all of it. I agree with you. Go read Regenerative Economics. If anyone listening works in finance,
yep, drop your Regenerative Economics comments. Yeah.
Whatever. It's the world.
It's the world. It's the world.
How did your music go this week? What did you end up?
I have. It's kind of a theme. I have kind of a theme this week.
Oh, you have a theme.
I love a theme for these kind of things because I need direction. You want to jump into it?
Wow. Oh my gosh. We have totally switched roles this week. This is exciting.
We have. You sent me your playlist. I only saw the length of yours so far. Mine is a grand 15 songs. I think you're in the center below range.
Wow.
All right. So I don't know.
DragonForce.
Yeah.
two DragonForce songs.
Oh no. I was supposed to take one of those out of there.
Now they're on. Can't fix it now.
Can't fix it now. Okay.
Nope. You just have to go with it. Roll with it.
All right, we're rolling with it. You get 2 DragonForces. Kate, have you heard of DragonForce?
No.
Okay. Well, they have made an appearance on Guitar Hero as like some of the more impossible expert super duper songs, but like there are people online that do full like perfect runs of these songs. It is like 7 minutes of just like insane 64th notes, nonstop guitar playing. It's so intense.
It's like a sonic firestorm.
It lives up to the name. Through the Fire. It's like really just ridiculous video game 80s style music, but they play it on guitar, and there's usually like 3 or 4 guitarists, and they just solo for like the whole song, and then they cut back to generally pretty ridiculous lyrics, soaring harmonies, and it's like kind of impossible to listen to unless you need to like get done today. So I'm almost apologetic that there are 2 DragonForce songs on here because it's like it is too much. 1 song is too much, but 2 songs is like
it's offensive.
Fun. So get ready. If you listen to this podcast, if you make it to the end of this playlist, rather, then get ready for a double hit of DragonForce. But
double DragonForce hit.
Sorry. Double Dragon. Oh yeah, do you remember Double Dragon?
Double Dragon. No.
Oh, okay. Cool.
You gonna explain?
No, I'm not.
Double Dragon.
Weeknight Double Dragon. So this whole playlist on this podcast is my journey into learning guitar. And I play guitar. I'm a beatboxer by trade, but I wanted to share like how I got into guitar and how I started liking it and what I tried to play and where I am now. Partly as like a way to share with anybody out there, if they are trying to learn music. I think it's kind of fun sometimes to see like how somebody got to where they are now. And if by the end of this list you're like, I want to play guitar as well, then maybe I have evangelized one more guitarist out there in the world. I think especially as arts programs keep getting cut, like it's always the first program that gets cut. I think you need to find reasons and inspiration and guides for why to keep going. So the first song in there is Just What I Needed by The Cars. That was the first song that I learned how to play on guitar with Brad Carlson and his brother Dan Carlson. I would drive to his house, which was like 10 minutes from mine. And in his bedroom, he had set up a complete drum kit. So you would have to like shuffle in. And I would put my guitar amp like right like on his nightstand and like unzip my guitar and plug it in. And then his brother Dan, once everybody was in there, he would push his way too big bass amp into the room. And like we'd just stand there like this and play stuff. And this was the first one. It's really simple. It's like very simple chords and very very simple to learn and play. And it was a really cool feeling for the first time to learn something at home and then come back and be like, oh yeah, this is how this song goes, and you know the drums and you know the bass, and we played it together, and it was this like really cool feeling. So whenever I hear Just What I Needed by The Cars, I think of Brad Carlson's bedroom.
Brad Carlson. Brad
wherever
Carlson's
you
bedroom. All right.
I don't know how his mom did it because we turned it up way too loud, and this was just like suburban Littleton, Colorado, and she let us do it. But that was that.
Thanks, Brad's mom.
Thanks, Brad's mom. The next song on here is House of the Rising Sun. It's by the Animals, and I remember I had a really cool Casio keyboard in my room, and it would it would play like loops of famous songs, and this was one of them in like crummy Casio, like beep dee 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 dee. It was like that really goofy synthy sound, and I would just sit there and play guitar along to this for a long time. It is how I learned to improvise. I think like the cool thing about improvising as a musician is like the first couple times you play it, you kind of get your ideas out, and then as it repeats again, you kind of get bored with your own ideas and you have to change them. You start to say like, well, what happens if I like don't play this here, or what happens if I play it on the offbeat or something. And I think boredom is a really big part of writing music. Like just repeating the same thing over and over is a good first step, but then like how do you progress songs forward? It's like, okay, this is where I get bored, and if I'm getting bored, somebody else is getting bored. And I think that is a weird like secret trick to becoming a better improviser, is like, when do you get bored? But this is where I first learned how to improvise, and it's a great song. I'm gonna like group the next four together. These were just like punk songs that I really got into at that time, and I'm trying to keep these in order. So these are like songs that I learned. And
you got some more skanking.
I got some more skanking. Yep. Bad Religion. Sorry, I liked because they harmonized. Like as a punk / rock band, they did harmonies, and that like that really tickled something in my brain that obviously has worked.
Future acapella.
Yeah, it was. I just thought I really liked that, and of course other bands do that, but like the way they did it, it was a big part of their sound. San Simeon was a song that my friend Garrett liked, and Garrett and I used to play guitar together. We grew up together, and we listened to plenty of Goldfinger. Anyways, I gave him the tabs of this song for his birthday. Like I printed out tabs for a bunch of songs that we liked, and I gave it to him in a folder. And I think I spelled it San Simon when I wrote the tab on it, and I remember he was like, you spelled it wrong, and I was really insulted by that. I was like, but I put this all together for you. Anyway, but I love the song, and it was a fun song playing a guitar. As is Take on Me. Ruby Soho the band is called Rancid. Like they have the mohawks, and they like fully went with the look. My progression through punk rock went through Rancid for a while as like
Rancid was pretty famous for a while, weren't they?
They were, yeah. They were a really big band.
Skaters had like Rancid stickers and stuff, like all this. Yep. It's skater boys.
He was a skater boy. Yeah, like everybody had that T-shirt too, and like I think they kind of exemplified a real style of punk that like hip hop. It was kind of adjacent to hip hop. It was maybe what the not Backstreet Boys,
definitely not the
Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys.
Oh, yeah.
If they had never met Rick Rubin, I think they would have basically become what Rancid was. As
interesting.
Ooh. And they wouldn't have gone into hip hop. So
that's interesting. I want to listen to that.
It's my hot take.
All right, that's a good hot take. Put that on Instagram and smoke it.
Yeah,
kids.
Yep.
Y'all don't even know the Beastie Boys probably nowadays. It's crazy.
Well, the T-shirts are out there. There's definitely that stuff.
T-shirts
anyway,
are out there.
So speaking of getting bored, at some point with punk music, I was like, all right, I've had enough bar chords, and I need like something else. And my friend Peter, basically, he's like, we're gonna do a show, and I want you to learn some songs. And Schism was one by Tool that I learned, and it was great. It was like you really have to like do a lot of hammer-ons as part of like the hook of the guitar. When I started learning that, I was like, oh, there is like so much more to this than just playing like chunky chords. And so Tool, and this song in particular, it was an entry point into not just more complicated music, but like more interesting guitar playing to me. It was no longer just about like how loud and chunky can you be, but like what can you do with it and what kind of tools are there. And so from Tool, I got into Eric Johnson. This song, I I tried to play a little bit of it, but it was way over my head. I couldn't do it. But my cool guitar teacher, Mitch Deswart, he learned how to play this. And I remember being like, that's so cool. It's like he plays Cliffs of Dover. It's this like 90s school of fast instrumental guitar, but he doesn't lean into the rock side as much as some of the people a little lower on this list. And I tried to play it and I couldn't. But this was like my first time I tried to play something on guitar and I failed, which was like, all right, let's keep working on this.
Yeah.
So moving down, Carry Me Home by The Living End. This was when I became a musician in my eyes, was this song. My theater teacher at the time was like, you should come sing Jesus Christ Superstar. You should audition for this. and I didn't. I chickened out. I went to the theater and then I left because I got afraid to sing in front of people because I never had.
And yet, I just have to tell everyone, I've heard Richie sing now Broadway music, like on stage with a full orchestra in front of a whole audience, and he absolutely nailed it. And I'll never forget just being like, hey, wait, you're really good at that. And you confessed to me, you were like, that's the first time I've ever sung with an orchestra before. And you would never know. So take that, high school, whatever, theater teacher, for intimidating Richie.
Well, he was very encouraging. I should say that. It was just me being afraid. I was a high schooler and didn't know how to...
Yeah. But good for you for conquering the fear. Anyway, I totally sidetracked.
Well, I still wanted to be a part of it because I thought this is cool. I got bored with soccer and I was like, let me join something else. Let me try this. It seems interesting. Yeah. And I learned how to play this song and I used this to audition for Jesus Christ Superstar, which I think I've talked about in a previous episode. But
I think you have to. At least you've told me many times.
Yeah. But Living End is from like the punk / rockabilly style guitar.
Richie, was it you who said that you didn't like rockabilly music?
No. Well, it's... I'm not a fan of the rockabilly style. I think that I think it like just homogenizes this like...
But they look, I feel like the girls look so cool with the like victory rolls in their hair and the like wiggle dresses and stuff. I don't know.
I think the first few people that did it looked cool. But now it's become like a uniform. And to me, I'm like, that's not what this is. It just seems like you're just copying a style. Right. And now I'm like, all right, so there's one of you now.
Right. I get what you're saying. It's kind of like when Hot Topic like homogenized being goth. You know, it's like,
yeah.
Okay, the whole idea of being goth was to kind of like go against the system, but then they made like this corporate, you know, chain store that's in every mall all over America that sold goth clothes. And so they were, I get what you're saying. It's like as soon as the style becomes a uniform, then it's no longer really a style. It's just another eggshell white wall.
I think hip hop has that problem. And really? I think one of the best parts about the beginnings of hip hop was that it broke the mold. Like it played music differently. It was more in your face. It sampled stuff. It changed the beat. It forced people to get up. Like it was revolutionary. And that included the way people dressed. Like they would dress in a way that was sort of counterculture, or they would go represent a style of dress that wasn't accepted as part of pop culture or mainstream culture. Yeah. And then it has been. And now the prevalent uniform is the same thing that NWA wore. Now everybody wears that. And it's like, I love sneakers and I definitely have like baseball caps. I like to wear them. But there has been no revolution in hip hop fashion as far as like the genre itself should demand.
That's a really good point. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So anyways, so The Living End, I really like. Chris Chaney is the guitarist, and he's this Aussie guy from Melbourne, and he put together a guitar tutorial disc that came with the album that my friend bought. Garrett bought the album.
Garrett!
And because we were both learning guitar at one point, I was like, do you mind if I borrow the CD, the DVD, and play it and try to play along? I struggled with Cliffs of Dover. Like, Eric Johnson had a tutorial DVD too, but his DVD was like, when you're moving your fingers, it's like an orchestra of like where you're muting and what you're not touching. And I was like, I don't understand that, but like, that's cool, I think. But this guy was like, yeah, man, like, I just had a beer and now I'm playing the guitar. Like, oops, messed that up. Let's try it again. Like, he just kind of talked like a guy, and I liked it. But to this day, I feel really bad about this. I lost that DVD somewhere in my room, and I never gave it back to Garrett, and he wanted it back because it was it was kind of like hard to find stuff like that back then. So
Garrett, Richie is very sorry.
I'm sorry, Garrett. I'm going to find one, and someday when we're like 95 years old,
Just
be like,
find his address and send it to him. That would be really funny.
Anyway. So moving on, I started to get better, and Joe Satriani and Yngwie Malmsteen, the two next two artists, popped onto my radar as just spectacular, amazing guitar players. Joe Satriani was kind of from the same era as Eric Johnson. He kind of trained other guys like Steve Vai and was like part of this like San Francisco rock scene. And this song kind of broke through a little bit into the mainstream, not a ton, but I learned how to play this, and this was the one that like teaches you like the like 2-finger hammer-ons and like these like different chords where you're kind of playing a chord and then you tap, and it's like there's a lot of different technique involved there, but it's actually relatively playable for a complicated song. So I learned how to play this, and then I went to see this crazy concert called G3. It was Satriani, Steve Vai, and the next guy on there. Satriani, Steve Vai are like kind of these like cool 90s San Francisco guys with the hair, or like Satriani's bald now, but like they're, whatever. And then Yngwie Malmsteen is this,
guys.
He's like a maniac. This guy is like insane. And he's like a lot of hair like you would see from like an 80s rock band. And like just all over the place. The shirts say like Yngwie Malmsteen. Those are his t-shirts. And he plays a lot of like Baroque music on guitar, but like in the style of like a Satriani. And it's just like insanely fast. And so he had mounted this like nylon string guitar on a stand. It was like on this. It was like, I've never seen anything like this. To this day, it's still like it's ridiculous. It's like you're doing way too much, but it's so cool.
Him. He's just doing him. That's so fantastic. I love that. I want more of that again. Since you mentioned Baroque music and you're talking about this guy, have you ever heard of Paganini, the famous violinist and composer?
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know, Paganini was famous, obviously, long before there was anything really recorded other than just people's firsthand accounts of hearing him play or interacting with him. And Paganini was famous for the fact that he had this wild and crazy hair, and people thought he made a deal with the devil because he was this incredibly virtuosic violinist. And when he performed, he would play in the darkness, and he would just play these really, really fiery, virtuosic, like, pieces on the violin with the lights off, and he had this crazy wild hair, and it's endured like into 2026 on a podcast. There's something about these guys who just defy social expectations. And but there are people who do that, and you can tell when they're doing it to like be cool. You can tell when they're doing it like Hot Topic style, and you can tell when they're legitimately weird. You know what I mean? Like you can tell that Bob Dylan's voice is just freaking weird. It's just weird, I, for some reason, have a feeling just from the fact that he's playing Baroque music in a rock style, I have a feeling that this Malmsteen guy, like, legitimately was a super weird guy. And I love that. I love that. I want more Paganinis and Malmsteens and Beethovens and Tom Yorks.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot to commit to being a Paganini or an Yngwie.
I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah, check it out. It's Baroque and roll. It's like a play on rock and roll, obviously. His album is called Attack. And it's just like infinite arpeggios. It's just that's like the whole song is like him doing that with like kind of Baroque style chord progressions. Anyway, check it out. A departure from Yngwie Malmsteen is John Mayer, who...
Great guitarist. I mean, who could possibly contest what a good guitarist he is?
Yeah, a fabulous guitarist.
John Mayer, there's plenty of songs he wrote that are a little cheesy or, whatever, and he's John Mayer. He's obviously very much in the public eye, and there's every now and then. But, man, some of his songs are so, so, so good, and it's just really funny that so many of the songs that make people famous are not their best songs, Your Body is Wonderland's good. Frankly, I think Gravity is an incredible song, but I don't know that Your Body is a Wonderland is like one of his best songs. It's just
I don't either.
It was one of the ones that went big,
Anyway. John Mayer has his like problems, obviously, and trying. At what point do you separate the artist from the music, or I don't know. That's a different conversation. But this song, I learned to play it, and it's a hard song because these are chords that I had never like tried before. It's not like just G and D and E, and like they are, you're up on the fretboard and really moving your fingers around in different ways. And it was a challenge, but I got good at it, and I felt cool. I was like, oh, I've like hit a next level in guitar when I learned how to play this, because it felt like, okay, now I can play more than just House of the Rising Sun or some Real Big Fish song, which no offense to them, but like
I can't play those.
It opened up doors. And as a sort of anecdote, when I was first learning to play guitar, I had like imagined it's sort of like a karate belt system, like colors. I first started playing guitar, it felt red. Then if you graduate from that, then you become like yellow or something. And I just like imagined like the phase color for all of these things. And this song was like a new phase.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah. After that, I started doing a lot more beatboxing and a cappella, but I still liked guitar music. We talked about DragonForce. Those songs, I had just a friend in college introduce me to those, and it was like, okay, this is stuff on guitar that I'll never be able to do. I don't know if it's just like I need another finger or like a new guitar or I just need to practice infinitely, but it's just a level that I was like, okay, cool. You got this. That's good for you. As a guitarist, right. I'm at a point where like I can play what I want, and I didn't feel the need to progress anymore, which I know in a culture of like ever expanding economic infiniteness, there's this like grind culture. It's like, no, always improve, always get better. But I was just I was happy with it, and I could still play guitar well enough to record it, and anyway, so DragonForce was like, fine, you guys are over there. I'll stay back here and enjoy my my level. But the last song on there was this. So the Gregorian brothers are this tremendous. They're a duet, and they play sort of Western style classical guitar together. They both play kind of like complementary pieces in guitar arrangements, and it's gorgeous. It's beautiful, and they were coming to Melbourne right before the pandemic, and I had been working with this venue, and I was like, look, you guys need a sound tech. I borrowed a soundboard from a friend. I had set up the speakers. It was outdoors. And I remember I set everything up, and their manager was like, so how long you been running sound for? Where are you from? He's like grilling me on this stuff, and I'm trying just to seem like I've been there before, and like, oh yeah, I've been, running sound and touring, blah, blah, blah. It's good. It's going to be good. It's good. Just give me a minute. Please go away. and somewhere in the middle of the set, I started hearing this like bzz, 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 somewhere, and this is just like, it's silent aside from their guitars. It's outdoors, but like there's no wind. The way this place is designed, it's beautiful acoustics, and so you can hear this like little like bzz, bzz, and then I'm looking around trying to figure it out, and their manager's looking at me like, are we gonna fix this or what? And I was like, well, shit, I can't get up. I can't like leave the board mid-set. I can't walk around. It turns out like on the speaker, there was like a little pin that was holding the speaker stand up that like hadn't like fully set. And so it was just like anytime they hit like a G, it was like,
oh, wow.
It was buzzy.
Oh, God.
Anyway. So I wanted to include a song from them because just to remind myself that I've taken a different direction.
Keep yourself humble.
Keep me humble, exactly. Anyway, I've blabbed quite a bit about my list, but I hope you enjoy it. This is my progression through guitar. And
can I ask you a question? So,
yeah,
all the years that I've known you, you don't often talk about your background in guitar. What was on your mind this week that made you inspired to share your guitar story? I'm so excited to hear it, because this is like, you can be friends with someone for a long time and still have new things to learn about them, And I knew that you played guitar, of course. Like you've talked about it before, but what brought it back to mind this week?
I think it's just any time I hear rock music, I love rock, and I've always loved rock, and it's just like what I do now with beatboxing and a cappella music is fun to do in person, but I don't often listen to it. I won't like seek it out that much. You know what I mean? It's like I liked playing soccer, but I don't like watching it that much.
Yeah.
I
felt the same with opera and with Broadway,
really?
actually. Yeah, I don't really sit. I mean, sometimes I do, but I don't. It's not really like the kind of music that I just sit around and listen to all the time. I listen to
Yeah.
jazz a lot, sure, but I understand there's some things that are more kind of active.
No, yeah, I think when you're participating in something, it really gets down to the core of like what is music for you. And
Yeah.
to me, I wanted to play guitar because I wanted that power that came from the rock music that I was listening to like I wanted to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And the problem that I had with being a guitarist was like that's not how you play guitar well. You play
Mm,
guitar well by small movements and careful motions. It is an instrument at its core. It's like you have to be careful with what you're doing and you
yeah.
can't just like punch it and it comes out, which is why I think I like beatboxing because that is a very visceral like that feels to me
Mm,
strong and that comes through strong and that's it. Whereas guitar, you can't punch through the speaker so much unless
yeah.
you kind of carefully pull the E string, boom, bing. Like that to me is it doesn't have the same connection to music. So
Mm,
while I enjoy listening guitar and I do like playing it, but I would much rather play beatboxing than
yeah.
I would
No, that
guitar.
makes sense. I love that. With singing, there are certain kinds of music that are more fun to sing than others. And it's really fun to sing opera. It's really
Hmm.
hard. And it's this like thrilling experience to be able to, make this sound come out of your body.
Yeah.
Um, but I think honestly, I love listening to opera, but it's far more enjoyable to sing.
Yeah.
I sometimes feel bad for people in the audience who don't know how to do it, I don't know. This reminds me, I have a friend recently who was telling me that she's an artist friend of mine. Um, and she was telling me how she was trying to reclaim the creative ability to read. And I was like, what do you mean by that? Like, how is reading creative? She's like, well,
Hmm.
it's incredibly creative because when you're reading, your imagination is creating all of these images. And depending on what you're reading, she was reading, I think, poetry. And so she was talking about that. And
Hmm.
sometimes even just an interpretation can be creative. And I don't know, it was kind of fun to think about it like as,
Huh.
creatives. And it's interesting because nowadays I talk to people who aren't even they don't work in the arts at all and they're still extremely creative people. And I
Yeah.
just think there's so many ways to love things. All of these things can exist at the same time.
When we did that tour in Turkmenistan, this
Yeah.
reminds me of that moment. When you were out there, there were a couple moments where you hit the note and you're just like, and there was this like weird pride. I was like, that is my friend. She's
Oh, you mean
doing
when I was
it.
singing
She
the
wins music today. Like it was it was so cool to see that. Like I know that you are capable of this, and I've heard it, maybe before, or at least, when I've seen a video of you, but like in person, I felt this different connection of like, holy, holy moly, like this is all of the practice, all of the like human figuring out what your instrument is and how to make it happen and work in a song with a symphony and a program in a different country. Like it all came together, and seeing you do that was like, holy shit, this is cool. And it was
No.
like, it was incredible. Like it was a great moment. So not only did I feel like good watching you do it, but like the audience loved it, and it made me like opera and Western classical voicing
It's funny that
in
you
a
say
different
that though,
way.
because I wasn't singing opera, was I? I was singing like Broadway belting, wasn't I?
Uh, I don't I don't know if you did I feel like you did some opera thing.
Hmm.
But one way or another, whatever you accessed like a belt note, which was
Hmm.
like it wasn't, you know, it was like in the same way as opera is like you've achieved voice, like
I see what you're saying. I see what
you
you're saying. No, I get it. I get it. I get it. Because I'm
you hit
like,
this
dude, I
thing.
was singing like Anastasia the musical and like at last. But
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. It's interesting to hear that would be equated for you with something like opera, which is like the difference between singing like a Broadway belt and like an opera high note is so different. But you're right. It's like a different kind of intentionality in the singing that you don't. Yeah. And thank you for your kind words. I will say that Turkmenistan was, I think, really cool for both of us because, so for anyone listening who doesn't know, I'm sure we'll talk about it lots in the future, but Richie and I did, program in Turkmenistan relatively recently where we were trying to cross genres with the symphony orchestra and traditional instruments out of Turkmenistan. And original songs that we had written and Broadway songs and Disney songs. And I think we even did like a Springsteen song or something. I don't remember. And Richie did a break during the whole thing where he went out and did this really great beatboxing extravaganza a cappella for the whole audience. And I remember pitching this program to the embassy that funded us doing the program in Turkmenistan and being like, no, but wait, we can do Disney and then we can do Broadway and then we can do original songs and then we'll bring out the dutar player and we'll get people singing in Turkmen and then Richie will do beatbox. Okay, and they were like, thank God they already knew me, but I mean, because they were like, all right, we trust that Kate, Kate's legit, like she'll put something together. But what was so amazing about that program was that I think we both can agree we absolutely nailed that. Like that concert was a wild success. We took it on tour. We had audiences hanging off the rafters. We had like the dutar player was like playing on.
Oh, so good.
It was so good. And it was such an amazing experience for Richie and me, who've been friends for so long. And we've worked on all these cross-cultural collaborative programs and we've done all this stuff, but to watch both of us also get to like be our big deal performer selves too, and not just in a performance of the music that we all wrote together or something, or as facilitators, but as the front of stage performers. It was just that was a really fun, special experience. Yeah. We've got some songs we have to release from that anyway.
We do, and stay tuned, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for your list, and I'm glad to learn more about, now that I know all the other sides of Richie, I'm glad to know more about the guitar side and the rock side.
Yeah, get into it. It's my Scorpio side coming back out, I think. I don't know.
You're so into Scorpio lately.
I'm just trying to.
He's going LA.
Well, we brought up astrology last time, and I'll lean into it if it works.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right.
That's awesome.
That's my list. Thank you very much.
Woo!
Woo! Fwam, fwam, fwam. The most anticlimactic air horn ever. Fwam, fwam,
fwam, fwam. And there was much rejoicing. Woo!
And on this day, Moses let...
Anyone who hasn't seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail,
get
thee to it.
Get thee to a theater where they... No, don't play it anymore because it's too old.
3 shall be the number that thou shalt count, and the number that thou shalt count shall be 3. No more shall it be 4. Anyway.
We need more Monty Python in our daily life.
We need more.
We need a new Monty
Yngwie
Python.
Malmsteen and Monty Python and
Yngwie Malmsteen. You got to say it right, Kate.
Malmsteen.
That's how I know you're not in the club
Malmsteen.
yet.
I'm sorry, Mr. Malmsteen.
No, those were those T-shirts that he had. It was people were wearing them because I think people were like, "What is a
what's his name?"
Yngwie
And
this Yngwie fucking Malmsteen. That's who. We'll have to bleep that out.
We have to
bleep that out, Richie. I think I've said 4 swear words in this podcast, which is.
Yeah, you've turned into a real sailor.
Yeah,
today.
It's this rock music. Tell you what.
Yeah,
corrupted
it's like
me.
a different. He's got his charcoal gray T-shirt on.
Nothing says rock and roll like a
storm.
Charcoal gray T-shirt in Beverly Hills. Anyway, all right, let's move on to Kate's playlist. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Just wanted to make sure. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
That's me.
That's you.
I'm really short this week.
I feel so good because my playlists are always shorter than yours. So finally, this might be the first time I win, you lose.
To be fair, if I didn't know that we were doing this today, which I thought we were doing this tomorrow, I would have had more songs and more preparation. But I think it's kind of fun. This is raw. This is real. This is me.
That's right, folks. It's real Kate Bass. All right, let's see what you got on here. I'm already thinking of Galactica, but that's not
I
that.
think of intergalactic.
Wait, you got to do it right, though. Speaking of Beastie Boys. Intergalactic, intergalactic. It's the name of the song.
Yeah.
I'm being such a snob.
It's been a while since
we can cut that
since
out
I've quoted Beastie Boys. Why would we cut that out?
Because
are we trying to act like we are?
You need to get the lyrics correct.
Well, anybody who listens to the podcast knows that I like fully shamed you last week for not knowing the Orpheus and Eurydice myth. So you have every right to shame me on intergalactic planetary.
All right. Yeah, take that.
Anyway.
I love
retroactively, we should just put that on the... I kind of like our retroactive ads. Anyway. All right, so what do you know here? Do you know anything here?
I know Sam Cooke one. Live, I like the live. Other than that, you kind of got me grasping for straws here. Tell me, where do we want to start? This is not your
to just leave people grasping for straws. Well, it's interesting. Actually, I was thinking as you were talking. So this list is literally one of these weeks where I just put the songs that popped on that when I was like, oh, I think we've talked about this before. I have this giant playlist that has an ungodly amount, and I really mean ungodly amount of music. Like, it's really big. And it's because for the past probably, I don't know, decade at least, I've just been saving songs as they come on and I like them. And it's interesting because I do have some favorite, like longtime old school favorite songs that aren't on the list because I just already know them. And so I didn't like save them in the moment. Mm-hmm. So, and it's funny also that I'm very grumpy about subscription music listening services. And yet being able to have this epic playlist that I have created on my own where any morning I can just press shuffle on what's called the master list. And it's like I'm listening to the radio, you know, and there's songs that I haven't heard all that often. There's pros and cons to everything.
Yeah, that's the whole problem with everything, right? It's like everything we have now has to do 2 or 3 things. And the thing that you want it to do is really what you're paying for. But you end up with all the other fluff.
Yeah, all the other fluff, all the other stuff. Anyway, anywho, so a lot of these songs are just songs that came on this week. And it's kind of interesting looking at it because I think I told you a while back that I was noticing my playlist had this kind of theme of like love songs or whatever. This one is so much Brazilian music. There's so much Brazilian music on it. And, well, not so much, but there's quite a large amount. And I don't know. I talked about this last week, but it's summer in Texas. And I think a lot of times you would think of summer in Texas as just like miserable heat, which it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, barbecue and like sweaty dudes or something, you know, but, you know, like guy like turning some meat.
I'm familiar with sweaty dudes. Yes. I know the concept. Been one myself.
I don't know. I thank you.
You're not a cool cat right now.
I'm not a cool cat right now.
Is that the segue?
Yeah, I'm not a cool... Well, I am a cool cat right now. Yeah, I think there's just... This week I've been feeling just this kind of like... I was telling you this when we were talking outside of the podcast. I've been challenging myself. I'm a workaholic, everybody. For anyone who doesn't know me, I am a workaholic. And
yes, you are.
I work almost sometimes too much. And work for me means so many different things because I'm... I wear so many different hats, and I've got like 20 different programs and initiatives and day jobs and, you know, music projects and things that are going always at one time. And, you know, sometimes it just gets a little overwhelming. So recently I've been experimenting with the idea of what if I also let myself live? Like,
crazy idea.
What if I also go out for a walk and spend time with people I enjoy and, you know, let myself just make dinner and read a book or watch a TV show, you know, and go to bed at a normal hour. Like, what if? And it's been interesting because I am really having to force myself to readjust around this concept. In the beginning of this year, I came back from a foreign country with parasites in my system and got horrifically ill for months and was completely debilitated while I was dealing with this. And when I was debilitated, I formed a work ethic, which I think was a little bit unhealthy because I didn't go anywhere or do anything. I couldn't go anywhere or do anything. All I could do was just sit on my computer and work. And now I'm having to readjust to this new normal of like, I'm a human again and I'm going in the world again. And there's this song, by the way, from Beauty and the Beast, the musical, that goes, "We'll be human again, only human again." It's like when all the little dishes, you know, Beauty and the Beast, all the little dishes and the forks Yeah. Well, in the stage musical version of Beauty and the Beast, they all sang this, like, we'll be hearing again, only hearing again. That's going on retroactively.
Is this
Anyway.
the Orpheus and Eurydice story again, or is that something?
No, this is Beauty and the Beast.
Are you sure? Isn't that Tom?
I'm positive. Okay.
All right.
But back to my list. Anyway, I've been enjoying summer.
Okay, good.
It's a good thing.
Hot,
it's a
sweaty
short
man
list
summer.
This week. No, it's like cool cat butterflies flying kind of stuff. So anyway, I have been really enjoying forcing myself to live again and enjoy the world around me again and relish in the moments of simple summertime, sit outside with an iced tea and just kind of watch the birds for a little while or something. It's been actually really, really good for me. And I feel like that kind of is showing in my playlist this week. There's just a lot of, and it's not to say that I know anything about Brazil. I've never been to Brazil, but there's a lot of bossa nova music that's been appealing to me lately. And bossa nova just, of course, has this. One thing I love about bossa nova is it's deceptively calm, like not calm, but bossa has this very chill brush drum beat, and the singers usually sing very lightly on their voice. It's not like Broadway, like like what we're talking about earlier. It's not rock music. It's like the opposite of that. And it's also very difficult to do. I don't, for anyone who hasn't tried it, just singing bossa nova music is hard because for me personally, I always sound like I'm overproducing and I'm over emoting and everything, and you just have to really chill and lean back to get into it. So anyway, I'll start with Baden Powell, who is a guitarist. Actually, I learned about Baden Powell. He's I believe a legendary Brazilian guitarist, and I just love this song by Baden Powell. It has this do 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 do, something like that, and you hear him just kind of singing in the beginning, and it's very evocative of a hot summer day, just sitting back with your guitar.
That sounds great. There's something about like Brazilian music that is just like
it stands alone. I think there's something about Brazilian.
That's really nice way to say that.
Yeah, like samba, bossa nova. I mean, it's such a deeply impactful culture of music that I think just really stands on its own against so many other musical styles, and at the same time has informed so many other musical styles. And thank you for saying that, because that brings me to Erasmo Carlos. This song, I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to say it, but his song, he is I know he's a legendary Brazilian musician, and he is famous for having merged rock music and bossa nova and other styles kind of together in this very unique style. And I just love him. Do you know him? Have you heard him before?
No, and I'm trying to imagine how rock and bossa nova mix, because bossa nova, like you said, is so light and kind of
it's so light,
and to have rock with that, I'm very curious now.
I mean, it's not heavy rock like especially this song. This song in particular sounds very bossa, but if you listen to it, you'll hear it's a lot in the instrumentation, in the way that he sings it. Like he does kind of lean in a little bit more vocally in certain parts, and it's really cool. It's really cool to kind of experience the bossa in the song, and then feel the song kind of grow into something a little bit bigger and more. It almost reminds me, not at all musically, but in vibe. I don't know if you remember, like there's a Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young song. I love them. I can't believe I haven't put them on yet, but they're one of my favorite bands of the 60s. Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young had a song. Halfway through the song, it goes into this totally different vibe. And it sounds like you're in like this lava lamp party. I don't know. I have to find it. If I find it, I'm going to actually put it on the list this week. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know the song. I have a Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young story at some point, but I'll save that for another day.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, there's this.
Yeah, find it.
I'll find it. There's a song that Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young have that like starts out very rock, and then all of a sudden it goes into this kind of psychedelic, like breakdown, but it's not really breakdown because they're still singing, and it's just cool. It's just interesting, and this Erasmo Carlos song, to me, kind of does that in a way, but it moves so beautifully into the slightly more rock-leaning part. Anyway, listen to it. See if you like it. Yeah. I'm sure you'll like it. I'm absolutely positive, Richie, that you will like it. But and since I'm doing the Brazilian songs, Ponto BR, This is a Brazilian group that also is really focused on bringing a lot of connecting the indigenous and folk cultures with different Brazilian styles of music and with different Western styles. From what I've read, which is very little, it looks like they're a group that really tries to do a lot of collaboration across cultures and stuff like that in a way that I think is really beautiful. And this song just came on recently while I was driving, and I was just like, oh my goodness, this is so great. It was just such a great, joyful sound to it. I'm curious what the words are. I think it's funny when there's words in other languages. Sometimes you're like, I love this. And it turns out to be about something totally different. So on that note, so Arooj Aftab is a Pakistani-American singer. And her singing is just another level. She has just such a soulful sound to everything that she sings and everything that she does. And I've loved her music for many years. And this song, Mohabbat, is covered by lots of different singers across genres. It's a very famous tune, I think, in Pakistan and in India. Mohabbat is an Urdu word, and I believe I know that the beginning of the song is about lovers. And I thought for the longest time that it was a Sufi poem about, you know how there's so many Sufi poems about my beloved, but beloved is actually God in Sufi poetry. Beloved is usually not another person. And I just looked it up this morning because the song came on, and it's every time I hear the song, it's just this beautiful, meditative, but also just like stunning instrumental build. It's just such a beautiful song. And I was listening to it this morning feeling like, oh, what a beautiful, I'm really feeling this kind of meditative vibe today and feeling grateful to be alive. And then I looked up the poem. And the poem is actually a very sad poem about love and loss. It's not about what I thought it was about. So anyway, that's my story about that. But this song, Mohabbat, I just have to say, I lived in Mumbai for a while, a number of years. And one of the things, I would live high up in apartment buildings, because that's in Mumbai, you're in an apartment building. It's probably going to be high because there's a lot of people there. And I was lucky enough to get to live pretty close to the sea, pretty close to the Arabian Sea in both of the apartments I lived in, one being my cousin's that I already spoke about and one being my own apartment later on. And one of my favorite things, I love a bird. I'm shocked I haven't gone off about this yet.
Big bird fan over here.
Big bird fan. I've written a lot of songs about birds. I'm just really into, I love a bird. And that's it. Yeah. That's all. No. So there are these birds in Mumbai in particular. I think it's called a kite. Black kite, I think is what it's called, but looks like an eagle. Looks like somewhere in between an eagle and a hawk. It's a bird of prey, and they just soar. And they kind of will soar around buildings sometimes, usually when someone has food out for them or something like that. And they're such beautiful, incredible birds. And there are also these amazing crows out there that I would like make friends with and give them water and food every day. There was this whole thing. I was like the weird white lady with the bird friends in Mumbai. This is really a vibe.
You're like that Home Alone lady.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Home Alone 2.
Oh, I never saw it. It. Yeah.
Where have you been?
Let me stay on my birds, Richie.
She has pigeons. Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of
She's the bird lady that I thought you were referring to. Anyway.
I was not. I was just referring to myself.
Back to your black kites or fire kites, which is apparently another name for them.
Oh, interesting.
Really cool.
Anyway,
this is your story.
So there was a black. Yeah, you're totally hijacking on Home Alone. Come on, man. So there was a black kite when I lived in my last apartment in India before I had to leave, and it would just show up at my bedroom window. My bedroom window had like a bar outside the window, and this black kite would just sit at my window, and I'd wake up in the morning and it would just be like looking at me, and it was really powerful for me because it's not just no offense to pigeons. Pigeons have their own thing that I could go off about for hours, but they're Eurasian rock doves and they're actually really smart and really cool birds. Anyway, and we ruined them. Humans ruined pigeons. Like pigeons were these like the friends of humans. They were how we carried our messengers across great distances to each other. And then as soon as we figured out how to send a letter, we just abandoned them. And now they're like pecking for, scraps in our cities. We made them this way. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, so this black kite would sit outside my window. It was a very powerful moment.
Yes.
And I remember one evening listening to this song and just kind of sitting there. I knew I had to leave India, and I was feeling a lot of feelings. I love India. I loved living in India. I didn't want to leave. And I remember sitting just feeling some kind of a way towards the end of my time in India. And I'm listening to this song. It's the evening, and the black kite, like true story, came up to the window. And I had only ever seen the black kite in the morning. And I have videos of this for those of you who don't believe me. It is real. It's on my Instagram if you don't believe me. And so for some reason, this song I always associate with my little bird friend, my extremely powerful bird of prey bird friend in Mumbai, India, that like said goodbye to me that one night. And I always wondered, I wonder if the bird came back and if the new person who lived there got to have the bird friend, or if anyway, Mohabbat. So that's that song. Lord Almighty.
Big
I have a list
fan.
of 9 and I'm still rambling. Big bird fan is the takeaway.
Big time.
I mean, honestly, that's probably my biggest story. So there we go. We're done. But birds, Kate Bass.
Kate Birds. That's all you need to know,
That's it.
folks.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. Sabor a Mi is just so beautiful. I believe this is like a classic. It's from Mexico. It's like from the 1960s or something. There's something about every time I listen to it, there are lots of different people have performed it. This is a particularly famous recording of it. I don't know how I learned about it, when I learned about it, but it's so romantic. I don't know what it's about yet again. Who knows? I should look up the poem, but I didn't do my homework. But it's so beautiful. It's so romantic. Their singing is incredible. It's fun to listen to. Our music from the 60s is one thing, or the 50s and 60s, and it's fun to hear music of that time, of that kind of golden age of music time from other countries. So I just love it. So that's that one.
I like that. I have this impression of the 50s. Maybe this is like American Puritanism coming through, but like it seems to me like this very like stiff nuclear family, black and white, and to have a song like this from that sort of era, Sabor a Mi, like the flavor of me, the taste of me, is like that's very like romantic and sensual, and I think that comes from that time. It's like, oh yeah, they were still like like us. I really enjoy that, like kind of shaking up my own impression of that time period.
So I just looked up the lyrics as you're talking about it, and it's, for so long we have enjoyed this love. Our souls have gotten so close that I now keep your taste, but you also keep the taste of me. It is not my intention to be your owner. I am nothing. I have no vanity. I only give you the good. I am so poor. What else could I offer to you? More than 1,000 years will pass, and so many more. I don't know if eternity will carry any love, but over there, just like here, in your mouth, you will keep the taste of me. That is so romantic.
It is.
What happened to romance? No, I'm just kidding. It's so romantic. I have goosebumps. There's something so beautiful about that idea.
Yeah. Remastered, no less.
Remastered.
That's funny. It's like this beautiful, like in 1,000 years, the taste of me, you'll remastered. I don't know.
Right.
Like,
but it's still a taste.
Still there.
Anyway, okay, so that's that. I just love that song. What a like lovely week. Honey just came up over coffee the other day. Jose Gonzalez is great. I think probably a fair amount of people know him because he's kind of reached a larger indie audience. I don't really know the song all that well. It just came up on my playlist while I was having my morning coffee, and I had a beautiful morning listening to it. So that's that one. Le Contrat is by a guy from France. I think he's Congolese. I think what's fun about this song to me is it's like very Afrobeats, very Congolese rumba kind of sounding. I don't know if you or many people listening know much about Congolese rumba, but it's cool because rumba, when you think of that particular music style, obviously it comes not from the Congo, but they took it on and kind of made their own form of it. And it's a whole style. I have a whole playlist on my phone from one of my friends in I think Uganda, made me a whole playlist of Congolese Rumba because I loved it so much. And it's just cool to kind of hear these influences and to think about how in the world we do when we share cultures, like sometimes it seeps into what we do and it becomes something new, and there's something really beautiful in that.
I think a lot of what we listen to and what we like comes from nostalgia of it's just like what was in our past, in our childhood that we listened to or that our mom and dad liked or whatever. I think that there's like these hints of nostalgia in there where you're like, I like that. I don't know why I like that, or it feels good to listen to this. And maybe it's not what I grew up with, but it's like part of what I grew up with. Like it influenced the stuff that I grew up with.
I think one reason I like it is that it's so different. Kind of like we were talking about Brazilian music and how it kind of stands on its own. Congolese Rumba, it's just such a beautiful, specific style of a region in the world that I have never been. That's what I find so beautiful about it.
I think anytime two styles get sort of put into any fusion, it's fun to listen to that when you kind of listen to it and you hear like hints of what you already like. I don't know. Maybe this isn't what you normally listen to, but you're like, there's a flavor of what I listen to. Maybe I live in France. I think there's a lot of great stuff coming out of France right now. There is a large immigrant population from Africa in France. And I think anytime you put two cultures next to each other and they start living together and making music with different instruments or weather or coffee or whatever, like there's a different change. And I think that is beautiful and fascinating. And
stuff's going to happen.
Thank you.
Yeah,
stuff's going to happen.
Totally. I don't know. There is something beautiful being musicians and working in cross-cultural collaboration. I've noticed that there are certain styles in my singing when I'm just improvising these days that are kind of inspired from some of the music that I've heard coming out of India and of the Middle East. Like there are certain like vocal ornaments that I'm not consciously doing, but that have started to form a little bit differently as the years have gone on. And I don't know exactly where it came from. There wasn't a moment that I was like, oh, I will do this thing, you know? Yeah. But it has affected me. It's inspired me. There's so many different styles that have inspired all of us. And I just think there's something really beautiful in that if we can all celebrate and honor how much we all really do impact each other. And anyway, here I am. Just watch. That song could be about like big booty shaking. You know, I don't even know.
Le contrat. Have you had people ask you as an artist, like what are your influences and styles?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How do you answer that?
I usually just tell them I don't even know where to begin. Like, it's kind of like when people tell you, like, give me your elevator pitch. And I'm just kind of like, oh, back off, bro. Like, I don't know. Maybe, whatever.
How about a long meandering walk through the woods pitch instead?
Like, maybe the world would be better off if we had more long meandering walk through the woods pitches.
Probably. Less elevators.
I actually less elevators. More woods strolls. Less elevators. I love that. But yeah, when it comes to my influences, I usually just tell them, like, I can tell you who influenced me with jazz and who influenced me with songwriting and who influenced me with opera and who influenced me with this and that and this and that. But they all are a part of it. Like Joni Mitchell's a huge influence. Ella Fitzgerald is a huge influence. But like a singer out of India named Kiran Ahluwalia, she was a huge influence for many years. And a singer from France named Camille, or like, I don't know. Beethoven is a huge influence. Just knowing his existence and what he did and under such adverse circumstances. I don't know. What about you? Do you have an answer for that?
I don't. I always go back to like what I was listening to as a kid, or what my parents were playing in the car as I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I remember we did an interview one time, and they're like, "Tell us who your like musical hero is." And I struggled with that because of the musicians that I really like. I've never met these people. Like I've never met, I don't know, Beyonce or Whitney Houston. I never met her. So I can't really speak to her being like a hero. I don't know if I want to be like her. If I could sing like Whitney Houston, that'd be amazing. But I don't know. I want to be myself, and a hero, I think, implies like I want to be like that person. And I don't know. So there's like musicians out there that I respect for what they do with their craft and what they do with their position. Yeah. But that's kind of like my influence, I guess. Rather than like, there's a million things. Like I like a guitar riff or a drum sample or a party that I was at when I was listening to Blink-182, even though I didn't like Blink-182. It's just like now they influenced me because it was on.
I always confuse them with Third Eye Blind for no reason, but anyway.
Lots of it's funny going on.
Yeah, it's the numbers. It's funny. Many years ago, when I was just doing my songwriting on my own, people would come up to me after shows and they would tell me that I must be influenced by Sarah Bareilles. And now I'm influenced by Sarah Bareilles because after people told me I sounded like Sarah Bareilles, I looked her up. I swear on everything, I didn't know Sarah Bareilles' music back when people were saying this to me. I don't know. She was a pop star and I didn't really listen to a lot of pop music at the time.
Sure.
And it's funny. The songs that made Sarah Bareilles famous, again, aren't even her best songs. Like, she's so good. I think I have her already on one of my playlists.
Mm-hmm.
I respect the absolute everything out of Sarah Bareilles. But it's interesting because I wonder what it was in my singing that inspired me, that probably also inspired Sarah Bareilles' singing at some point. You know what I mean? Like, maybe she grew up listening to Ella Fitzgerald. Maybe she grew up loving Joni Mitchell. Probably both of those things.
Yeah.
And
She's
somehow
about your
our
age.
voices. Yeah.
You know?
It's interesting to me because it's like, yeah, we are all influenced by people. We all have so many heroes in so many different ways, and it's not always intentional. Anyway, I'm realizing I have now blabbed on way longer. You tried to be fast. I have a 9-song list, and I blabbed on longer than you, but we had some good chats in it. I actually don't know anything about Cinerama Scope. I heard it on the radio, and I just loved it. It's like, it says featuring Trombone Shorty.
What a name.
They're a funk band. It's a contemporary funk band. They're from New Orleans.
I think if your name is Trombone Shorty, you have to live in New Orleans. I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I don't think you can accept a nickname like that unless you're from somewhere in that Louisiana area.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I just looked them up. They are from New Orleans, and now I love them even more.
Awesome.
I think we already talked about this, but one of my favorite cities in the entire world is New Orleans. I just think, talk about everything we're talking about all these cultures, like, coming together and making awesome stuff together, like New Orleans food, New Orleans music, New Orleans culture, New Orleans art, New Orleans people. Like, there is such a beautiful merging of cultures in that city. And as far as I have seen and known, there's always problems, there's always conflicts. But when you're from New Orleans, from what I've learned from the few people I know there, it's kind of like, if you're from New Orleans, you're going to get along with each other because you live in this, they've been wrecked by so many hurricanes and there's so much history. And anyway, now I love them even more. Anyway, it's just a really cool song. It's like funk. I heard it on the radio and I loved it. So enjoy. Perfect. And okay. So Us Three, I also heard on the radio, and it's a jazz fusion group. And it had a really cool mix of like kind of hip hoppy beats and a jazzy sound. And the lyrics are kind of silly. Yeah.
Okay.
I just enjoyed it.
Great.
The Austin radio is really great. They play really cool stuff, and I think it's inspired a lot of what we've been doing with Entry Points, because I just think it's so fun to get to hear music that you wouldn't otherwise listen to. And it's really fun driving in Austin because, like, I think you've driven with me in Austin. Like, the roads are fine. They're fine. Like, and you drive on this like elevated highway to get down towards downtown and downtown Austin. And downtown Austin is a really cool skyline, but it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's like a lightning storm coming in nearby and the city skyline's out there, and you're going out probably somewhere to have like a spicy margarita and listen to the cicadas and hang out with friends. And that's this week. Last one is Sam Cooke, Blowing in the Wind. Sam Cooke is just one of my favorite singers of all time. I think we've already talked about him a lot. And I just love this live recording of him singing Blowing in the Wind. We've been talking a lot about protest songs, and there's something about hearing Sam Cooke sing Blowing in the Wind, this famous protest song here in America, hearing him sing it live. It's like catchy and good. And at the same time, it's like, I don't know. We were talking last week about Hadestown and this, why do we keep telling these stories over and over and over again? And, how many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? Like, what great lyrics that song has. It's just kind of fun to hear it sung by Sam Cooke, just sung by a different person and kind of get his take on it. So that's it. That's my week. That's
your week. That's great. That song, by the way, came up at I went to a concert 3 weeks ago now. It was at Camp Acapella. And every year here in around LA, they do a big camp where they bring in a cappella singers, and this is the last song. They got all 150 of the campers on stage to sing. They sang this song, not Sam Cooke wasn't there, but It was, yeah, it's an interesting song because, like, I think as a folk song, I think it means so much that if anybody dares sing it, it's like, I know what you're trying to do now. Whereas, like, back in the day when Sam Cooke or Bob Dylan sang this, it was more like it really touched a nerve. Now it's come to mean so much more contextually that when you decide to put this into your own concert or you decide to cover this as an a cappella group, it's like, okay, you're saying a lot. And I have to, like, put aside this moment of seeing you through the lens of this song's 70 years of existence and meaning. And it's weird when something like this comes, or like when somebody sings that, what was that Live Aid song?
I was thinking like Let It Be by the Beatles.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to cover something so iconic.
I think that's what I'm trying to,
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
the best analog is, I'm still searching for it. Maybe what you said, Let It Be or something like that. Or Imagine.
Imagine, that's a good one.
Yeah, you're like,
That's
this is a beautiful song, and it's like, it's done. And to have, because I think Bob Dylan wrote this originally and Sam Cooke covered it. So when an artist decides, particularly a contemporary big artist like this, covers another artist's song, that's a cool moment because they're like, this says what I want to say, and usually they'll actually ask that person, be like, do you mind if I do this version of the song? I think Hendrix did that with the Watchtower, which also was written by Bob Dylan. But
How have we not put Jimi Hendrix on it? I was just thinking about this the other day. I was like, Jimi Hendrix is one of these people that's not on the master list because Jimi Hendrix was such a major, not influence, but I was so obsessed with him for so many years.
Were you?
Like,
Okay.
him and Led Zeppelin aren't on my playlist because I just don't even think to put them on. Because it's the same thing as like Billie Holiday. I don't have much of her on my playlist either. Yeah. Oh my God, Jimi Hendrix, like.
We might have to do like a version where we just do the obvious choices, because I think part of this podcast is like, let me pull my B-sides in and throw you some different stuff. But yeah, of course, like Hendrix talking as like a guitarist. I didn't put Hendrix on my guitar list, but he influenced so much of not just how I play, but like the rest of the guitar world and the way that, we consider chords versus individual notes, and there's a whole history there, but it is surprising, like, why didn't I put him on there? And
we just assume everyone knows him, and I'm sure everyone does, but just because we know a thing doesn't mean it's not worth talking. Maybe actually that, and bring it back full circle for Blowin' in the Wind and Sam Cooke. I imagine, and I'm sure there are some people who don't know, just like Orpheus and Eurydice. Like, I imagine that.
You're going to see me angry if you keep bringing that up.
At least I'm not talking about the Java Jive. Okay, I'm sorry.
Never.
I imagine that everybody knows Sam Cooke and that everybody knows Blowin' in the Wind, and yet it's still sometimes it'll just come on and I'll be like, oh wow. Imagine, like you brought up Imagine, that's another great one. The Beatles, John Lennon, like they're so not ubiquitous. They're just so iconic. Everybody knows it. But I still think it's worth every now and then talking about, like I keep wanting to play Ray on my playlist because I think Ray is really amazing. I listen to her all the time. And I think she represents so much of where I hope the music industry is heading, just in terms of like being a real life damn good singer, and like really authentically herself and all of this stuff. And at the same time, I haven't put it on my playlist because everybody knows Ray,
Everybody knows Ray. Why do you need me to introduce you?
Yeah.
Huh.
But I guess this is about us sharing our stories and our entry points into things. So anyway, I digress. That's my list.
But that's a great list. Thank you very much, Kate.
Thank you.
If you've made it this far in our wonderful podcast, just know that we put into the show notes, we put our playlists on Spotify and Apple Music. So go check on them, go click on them. Also, leave us a review. It definitely helps us when you like comment on them and say like, oh, that was the best. Richie's list was way better than Kate's or whatever.
Kate's was way better than Richie's. Whatever.
Or just, broad praise. We love that too. Or, 5 stars, all that stuff. That really helps to get the word out some more. But listen to the music and share it with your friends. The whole point is to change what your algorithm brings you.
I don't know if it's just to change what the algorithms gives you. Lately, I've been feeling that, like, screw the algorithm. The algorithm's getting better and it's feeding pretty decent songs, but it's still not a connection based in other people. Like, the algorithm can understand your preferences and continue to give you music that's like really, really, really well tailored to your specific preferences, but that doesn't give you the room to expand your preferences and to open your mind to things you may not have known before, and to, like, learn something new. And I think that's, for me, I've been kind of circling, like, what is so wrong with the algorithm to me? And that's what it is. That's the whole silo thing, of course, but, like, I want to expand my perspectives. I want to listen to Mals. I want to listen to that guy.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
I want to listen to Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yeah. Well, I wonder though too, because like how much of the forest do we see for the trees? To use that phrase, like, you have this giant 17-day long playlist of songs that you've curated over a decade. That is your algorithm. And I don't know if Spotify is getting better or if it can just respond to the fact that you've got all these amazing songs in there.
Maybe. And yeah.
I genuinely don't know, because I have my own echo chamber of an algorithm. Right. I don't know if you've noticed too, like, the more stuff you put into your Spotify playlists, then on Instagram you start to get some influence in that too. Almost as if like the data is kind of being shared across all of these things.
Yeah, almost. Are they sharing our data?
I don't. Well,
I
clicked.
Like there's centers that hold all of them and keep like dossiers on
Crazy.
us.
Crazy. But it is interesting how when you start to change one part of it, it infiltrates through the rest, and
honestly, just for me, it's about, like, fine, like, make all the great algorithms, make all the great subscription sites to get all the data that you want. I want to still live a human life. I want to still meet interesting new people and learn interesting new songs and sit around and look at people's playlists and, like, watch music videos on YouTube. And I want to be a human. And it's great. You can make all of the targeted advertising and maybe I'll buy your jeans. I don't know, like, maybe it'll work sometimes. But I don't know, like, it's very easy for all of us to focus on how terrible it's all getting and how homogenized everything's getting. And yes, our walls are eggshell gray. And yes, we have, like, homogenized food choices everywhere outside. And you know how we break it? We just cook food and we put art on our walls and we talk to each other and we listen to music that's not just on a automated playlist. Even if the automated playlist is going to be great, listen to the radio. Listen to some songs you don't like. You talk about that all the time. Richie's always saying, like, maybe you won't like the song, but at least you're making the choice. And I think that's what I'm starting to feel more and more from what we've been doing with this, is just, it doesn't matter how great the automations become. It's not the same as just getting to hang out and talk about our crazy little stories and learn about each other and learn about the world and enjoy new things and try it and choose.
And maybe in addition to listening to this, go ask your friend what they're listening to as well. Yeah. And don't just look at ours. Definitely look at ours, because we love our playlist. But these are our perspectives. So go talk to your friends and say, like, why don't you, what song are you listening to? Did you hear something today that you liked? Let me know. I think that's important too.
Bring back the listening party. I went out on a date recently to a place that was playing records.
What?
They were playing, it was a vinyl record listening room. I know.
Oh, cool.
Classy guy, I gotta say. It was this, like, they had, like, craft cocktails and they were playing vinyl records and, like, and you would sit and chat, but there were also really high quality headphones everywhere, and every now and then. And at first I thought it seemed kind of pretentious or put on. And we were there with a group of people. And every now and then, one of us would just put the headphones on, like Purple Rain was playing, like they were playing lots of really interesting stuff and deep cuts, but they also just, like, were playing the Prince Purple Rain record. And I don't know, we all sat back and, like, put on the headphones for a second. And, like, it was fun to watch the person engaging with the music in that moment. And then they'd trade the headphones like a cocktail, you know,
nice.
You would trade it around. And it was really nice. It was like, oh, it's fun to sit around and listen to music with people and, like, kind of chat and kind of listen. And it weaves in and out of the discussions and it informs the environment around you. And it was fantastic. Like, let's bring back stuff like that. Let's do more of that,
Hell yeah. How
Just
easy
enjoy.
too. Sit there and
How
listen.
easy. Mm-hmm.
What else?
Yep.
Yeah. You don't have to try.
Yep.
Actually,
And it's not
that explains your playlist this week. I was trying to find some sort of theme, but you went on a date. This feels like very like
I've gone on other dates. It's not like it's the first date of my life. Good Lord, Richie.
First date of your life. That's what it is. We can,
Plus, the listening room was probably last week. Leave me alone. Back off. Shut up.
Shut up.
Stop it.
Stupid.
Anyway,
on that note.
I'm probably going to cut that.
Probably. Almost certainly.
This was fun. I had a good time.
I did too.
What are your top 3?
San Simeon. I'm going to go there just because for nostalgia.
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger. Just out of like pure humility, I'm going to go with the Love Token from the Gregorian Brothers.
All right. Pure humility.
And then Carry Me Home. Living End. You can never go wrong with Living End. Top 3.
All right. I'm going to add a 4th, which is Yngwie Malmsteen.
Do it.
Me?
Yeah.
Me? What's my list? Let me look at my list.
I mean, your list is almost just top 3 anyway. It's so short.
I know, right? My top 3 are the Erasmo Carlos song that I don't want to pronounce wrong, Sabor a Mi, and Cineramascope.
All right. Fabulous. With Trombone Shorty.
With trombone. I just wheezed.
How? That's the sort of nickname I aspire to. I don't.
Could you imagine? That guy's probably really fun to hang out with.
Yeah, if your name's Trombone Shorty and you're lame, you're not going far. Sorry.
It's like a
He's from
boring
New Orleans
tiki bar. Yeah.
Yeah. They exist, but not for long. They go out of business. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Fabulous.
This is great. I got some music to listen to on the way to my parents' house.
Me too. Thank you, Kate Bass.
Thanks, Richie Stagnant.
Stagnant?
What
is that accent? I've heard it before. Stagnant?
Stagnant.
Is it like old guy from the East Coast?
Well, okay, so I call you Old Rich. And I feel like Rich is Stagnant. Same guy. It's the same.
That sounds like a prospector
same
lady.
character.
Like
same guy. Same
Gold
lady.
Rush
Guy's
Jane
a lady.
or something.
Gold Rush. I went out for a whiskey with Old Rich.
And he didn't come back for 30 years.
Richard Stagner, he drank too much whiskey. I mean, he fell face first. And he fell face first down in the whiskey bar. And then he looked at me like I'm the crazy one.
That is how it went. The old legend of Old Rich and Gold Rush Jane. And the whiskey bar. Anyway, folks, that's Entry Points Radio.
He's listening.
This is that ending that just keeps going and going and going. This is the beginning of another podcast. Old Timey Shit, featuring Kate Bass and Old Rich.
Old Timey Shit. Some songs by Mumford and Sons.
And the hymn of the Battle Republic, or Battle Hymn of the Republic, whatever. I don't know. It sounds like something.
Okay. We have to go.
We have to go. You have to go. I don't know how to end this. I don't know how to.
Just press stop. Just press stop.
All right. Press and stop. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Entry Points Radio. You can find the full playlist and connected links for this episode in the show notes. Subscribe for behind the scenes, playlist archives, and more at our Substack and Patreon. Your support makes our work possible. Follow us on Instagram at Entry Points Radio. If something in the episode opened a door for you, send it to a friend. That's the whole point. We'll be back next week with more music beyond the algorithm.